Greetings, fantasy football fans. Coming to you from the Make the Waffle Studios in lovely Longmont, Colorado. We are going to discuss what is probably going to be one of the more standard type formats that I think we all probably are familiar with. But again, it's a free sleeper league, and I do think when it's not your friends, when there's no money involved, I do think the vibes are a little different as opposed to when those other factors are in place. So I'm going to reply to a trade offer real quick while we're on video. There's some real time fantasy football stuff there. That was actually fantasy basketball. Dude trying to trade me always, and I just have to tell him no. So anyway, thanks for your patience. Here is a 12-team Superflex, which again is pretty standard, I think, for what most people do. No independent defensive players, and pretty standard roster size, pretty standard scoring, stuff like that. So let's start with my spreadsheet here, because I've been in this one now, I think, for, we'll call it 2 years. I did the startup draft for this league, so I didn't take over an orphan or anything like that. It did pretty much spawn off of my Romper Room Absurdly Grim Bus Safety video team, if you've watched the video for that one. So, you know, they decided they wanted to do a Superflex 12 team because they had been doing the 16 team one quarterback league for a while, and so they invited me to join. So I did the startup draft. And interestingly enough, the first year I was pretty dominant, except I lost in the semifinals, was upset in the semifinals. And then going into the second year, I had somebody sending me some pretty ridiculous offers for some of my players. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of my favorite players, and he offered me like so many first round picks, I just could not say no. So I traded away Amon-Ra St. Brown. I traded away a couple of other players as well. And my hope was that even if my team was not as good, I would kind of eke into the playoffs and maybe get hot, which is always kind of my preferred method of operation. I did not make the playoffs, but what did happen was I had 3 first-round picks going into this draft coming up, which, by the way, is in a couple of days. And I have 3 first-round picks, I think, going into the next. We'll look at that. We'll verify that whenever we get to that point. So, you know, one of the more interesting trades I made actually was I was planning on picking Joe Burrow. Or no, I was planning on picking Love, who is my quarterback here, in the startup draft. I remember doing this and being ready to pick him, and I got sniped, and I ended up picking Joe Burrow. And so what I offered actually was, after the startup draft, hey, do you want Joe Burrow and like a 3rd round pick for Love? Which he jumped on, of course, and I took a little heat for that. And in my mind, I was like, well, now wait a minute. Love got drafted before Burrow, so why is everyone getting on to me for offering a pick with Burrow to get Love? And so anyway, I ended up getting Love, and Burrow's been hurt, and it's been kind of a nightmare with that guy. I do love Burrow the player, but thought I would go with Love. So I have my spreadsheet here. He has started the most games for this team. Dak Prescott has started the second most, and I think I've had basically both of them since the beginning. And I've been okay with that for sure. Aaron Jones has been a workhorse for me, and he's still on the team, and he's signed with the Vikings, so we'll see if if that's going to work. Traded Sutton last year. I've had Warren, I think, from the beginning. I think Wan'Dale Robinson might have even been a waiver wire pickup at one point, and I've had him, for 30 weeks or so. Here's DK Metcalf, who I think I got in the Amon-Ra trade. So in one league, I traded away Metcalf for a boatload. In this league, I traded away Amon-Ra, got Metcalf in a boatload. So he's like been my linchpin trade player, it seems like, since I've kind of gotten involved in this. McMillan is one of my original draft picks last year, and people have tried to get him from me. And I've pretty much been sticking with just I'm going to keep that guy. Gainwell, another waiver wire guy who's just kind of been killing it. Njoku, a new Charger, who I am going to probably try to trade along with Schultz. I don't think I need either one of those guys necessarily. Drafted Jackson Dart, ended up starting him 5 times last year. Reed, who's been a huge disappointment, has been sitting on IR forever. Ridley, who I actually got also in a wide receiver trade, and he's also been kind of a disappointment. I drafted Loveland last year, and he's coming on pretty well. One of the advantages this league has, by the way, and this is something I would have you consider as well in your leagues, they don't do a deadline on the taxi squad. So last year I was actually able to move Loveland from starter to bench to taxi and back. I always had a spot for him, which was pretty convenient. So made a trade for Tracy last year, trying to get into the playoffs. Did not happen, but I'm going to hang on to him, see if that pans into some help this year. Luke McCaffrey, I've been waiting for that guy to take off. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Here's a bunch of rookies again who've been kind of sitting on the taxi squad, sitting and waiting, biding their time on the bench or on the taxi squad. Lots of various starters here. I mean, man, it's been a bunch throughout 2 seasons now. So let's go over to Sleeper real quick, and let's just take a look at the team. Here's the way it looks right now. It'd be Dart and Prescott as the starters most likely, but Love is very viable, and I fully expect somebody's going to get hurt at some point. I was trying to remember how I ended up getting Ridley. Let's take a look here real quick. I had CeeDee Lamb. That's right. I ended up getting Ridley, a first and a second, and Ridley for CeeDee Lamb. And again, Lamb got hurt. And so this one's one I'm feeling less good about. The Amon-Ra I'm still feeling okay about. But yeah, this team had CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra on it. But it's also, again, set for the future here. So going into this year, we have the 105, the 109. I actually had another first-round pick, and I traded it for Saquon Barkley. It was actually the team that I had originally gotten the pick from, and then that owner left. And so when the new owner came in, I said, hey, would you prefer to have your first-round pick back? He said yes, so I took Saquon Barkley. Not a trade I would have normally made, all things being even. But if they're coming in and doing the league a favor by taking over an orphan team, I want them to be able to have their pick if they want it. So I ended up trading for Barkley. I also have Dowdle. So I think running back were pretty good. I love Downs. That was actually a trade that I made for a second-round pick, and I think Downs is going to be pretty good. And so on. I wanted Dowdle, by the way, with Warren. So my spreadsheet definitely needs some updating. I have not updated it yet. I was curious how I got Wan'Dale Robinson. He was picked in the 19th round of the startup draft in June of 2024, and he's been a warrior for this team. He's been really good. Does appear as though I have a lot of Titan receivers, by the way, with Ridley, with Robinson now, and then also with Ayo Minor. I may actually go try and get Tate this year if I can, but that would probably require a little bit of a move. If I'm sitting at 5, I don't know if I'm going to get him. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not in love with the idea. I don't have to have him, but that is something I'm kind of keeping in mind. So here is our draft room. We are having our draft this weekend. And here I am at the 1-5. So, again, I did not make the playoffs. 7 through 12 here made the playoffs, and I was 2 spots out. So, very disappointing year last year. And again, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I traded them away. I got some assets. Hopefully, in the long run, I took 1 step back to take several steps forward. So, we'll see if that's the way that works. I was going to check actually here real quick because I had made a claim and I wanted to see if it was actually true that I have now 2 first-round picks after trading for Barkley this year. And then in 2027, I also have 2 first-round picks. And 2027 draft, 2 first-round, 3 second-round. It is deep. It's got a lot of good players, a lot of good quarterbacks. So I do like having extra picks in that draft already, setting up for future years. So here's, again, our draft room. I have the 5th pick, which if you look at my queue, Love, Mendoza, Price, Tate, Sadiq. That Tate Sadiq Concepcion window, very, very appealing to me. My impression is I probably make this pick at the 1-5. I'm not 100% sure I end up making this pick at 1-9. That's the one I might. If I can turn that into another 2027 first round, I would very well consider that. I do know this 110 is already on the trade block, though, so I don't know how many takers there's necessarily going to be for that. But looking back at my team again, I got the 1-5, the 1-9. I also have the 2-7 and the 2-12, which I do find, again, in a 12-team league, that's a really prime spot to make a pick, trade a pick, or package them to move up if there is a guy I want to go get. I could even package, a second round with this 1-5, I think, to move up if I really want to. Package a second round with this 1-9 to move up if I really want to. I find that I really enjoy moving back. I like to see what the board looks like when the pick comes up, find a few options that I'm pretty even on, trade the pick, move back, and then just take one of the whatever options are left over. I've done that many times. And again, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. For what it's worth, in this league, I have been pretty competitive, and it's actually worked out pretty well. I once, by the way, made a joke to the commissioner about it was year 2 instead of year 1. And so now he uses anything other than the actual number to indicate the year that the league is in. So Iverson was number 3. So we are in year number 3. And it was named after Rashee Rice, a wide receiver for the Chiefs, who ended up getting pulled over for speeding down Kansas City highways or some weird thing. And why he called it Rashee Rice Racing, I don't really know, but it's always been kind of funny. So I took my team name off of some Red Hot Chili Pepper lyrics and gave myself a little Red Hot Chili Pepper logo, and planning on competing in this league this year. Again, we have a draft coming up on Sunday, May 17th. He does do a 24-hour clock on this, which I think is ridiculous, because I think there are those who just like to use up all the time, and I don't necessarily get that. I'm also going to be on vacation after 1 week of this draft, so I'll just fill my queue if that's what I got to do, and not sure how that works when I'm on vacation. So anyway, standard 12-team Superflex league, no IDP, and that's kind of been my thought processes going into this is do really well on the startup draft, which I did. If people make you ridiculous offers for players, you kind of have to at least consider them, if not accept them. When I look at the CD Lamb trade now, I'm kind of bummed, actually. I kind of wish I hadn't have done that one. But I can tell you, as much as I love St. Brown, I'm still pretty happy I did that league, did that one, because that has just it's just made this team sort of competitive forever. So it was St. Brown for a first, a second, and DK Metcalf, which at the time when he played for Seattle, he was pretty good. So I don't know, maybe these weren't as ridiculous, actually. I even traded for St. Brown in this league. Look, I gave up Olave, Kraft, and a third for St. Brown. So I don't know, maybe I should just reach out and see about getting that guy back sometime. But I do enjoy my trades. I do enjoy having future assets to work with. And I think that 2027 pick, again, is going to pay off. I really do. That team probably not going to be great. Probably going to be a pretty high pick. And we'll see how it goes. If I have my pick, which should be a low first round, and his pick, which should be a mid to high, then again, I'll probably be sitting in the same boat here, 1-5 and 1-9, going into the 2027 draft. So that's a little rundown on roster and how this season is shaping up. And of course, as soon as the draft is over, I'll touch base with you guys again. May not do that until, it might be late July, early August before we start getting into some updates on that sort of thing. But if you want to follow along with my thought process on a 12-team Superflex fantasy football league, this one's a good one to follow. You guys stay safe out there, and I will see you again.